What is going on, world, and welcome back to another video where I respond to your YouTube comments. Now, this video is a video I made back in April. Basically, I just took one of my Snapchat rants, I saved the whole story, and I loaded it up to YouTube. I was experimenting around to kind of see what people expect. So if you guys are interested, and I really suggest you do, go check out that video. It will pop up at the top of your screen right here. And you can also find it in the description box below. Now, I do warn you though that this is a Snapchat story, so it's cut. It's not the cleanest thing. As I said, I was still experimenting around and I was still learning. What do people like to see on YouTube? What do people like to see on Snapchat? If I merge the two, is it gonna have any kind of influence? Are people not gonna like it? Are people gonna like it? So I haven't done this type of video in a while. It is very hard to watch, but basically in this video, while I was at work there, someone left one of these Pediasure baby formulas on the table after they took off and they were leaving. And as a server and, you know, being interested in what we're feeding the next generations, I had to take a look at the label that was on this bottle. And once I did, I was in complete and utter shock of how many different chemicals, how many different products that they were putting in this bottle that's for a baby. That's for an infant. Like I said, make sure you guys go check out that video. It's quite informative, and if you plan on having children in the future, I really suggest informing yourself on what you're going to feed these kids, what you're going to put in their bodies, especially at the young age when they're first growing. This is the most important and crucial time to be optimally supplying them with the nutrients that they need. So I'm gonna answer one of the questions that came upon this video, or it's more or less a comment. It's not really a question, but let's just jump right into it here. So this comment is from Mark R, and he says, "You say you like to relate everything back to your ancestors by using natural products, I presume. You realize that for every generation that comes along, people are living longer. Maybe we shouldn't be giving babies vaccines because our ancestors didn't have them available. There is a flaw in your logic. Just because it was made in a lab doesn't automatically make it harmful or less healthy than a natural substance. Seems to me you have a hippie way of thinking." So I responded to his YouTube comment by saying that's most likely a false statement. Fossil and skeletal remains can only document age until the period that your body stops growing, especially when you are studying bones from 10,000 years ago. Fossil and skeletal remains can tell you that this human being reached the age of at least 30 to 40. But it's really hard to tell if that body lasted to 50, 60, or even 70 years of age. So these conclusions, mixed with a very low infant survival rate, made scientists average out that the typical age of our ancient ancestors lived to be about 30 to 40 years of age, where that could be completely false. There are people living right now around the world who emulate many different life factors that are easily comparable to our ancient ancestors in terms of diet and lifestyle, yet some of their elders, they live to be well into their 80s. This certain idea that our ancient ancestors died young is a very common misconception, and it is clearly explained in a book called Sex at Dawn, which I really suggest going to pick up, and I actually made a blog post about this a while back. So I really suggest going to check out this book. It's very informative, it's very funny as well, and it kind of leads you through how human beings live their lives, or possibly live their lives back when they were ancient ancestors. And it kind of takes us away from this typical, you know, Flintstonianization where we love to pretend that the way we live right now is how people lived in the past. Just because, you know, we put rings on fingers and we get married to one person, that we like to pretend that this is how animals do it too. That this is how our ancient ancestors 10,000 years ago used to live and carry out their lives. It's a very common thing, and it's also part of this book, Sex at Dawn, called Flintstonianization. But that's basically all I said to him there, is that a lot of the things that we are being taught in this world are misconceptions, and they're being instilled into us, or at least it was instilled upon me and my generation from a very young age, that this idea that our ancient ancestors, these cavemen and these hunter and gatherers only lived to be about 40 or 50 years old, and that now, in this age of science, in this age of healthcare and technology, that we have the ability now to allow people to live well into their 80s and 90s. If you go look at some information from indigenous tribes and Aboriginal groups here in Canada, some of their elders, there's pictures of elders who lived into their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they were still eating meat. One thing that I like to say, and I like to post up on my Twitter every once in a while, is that normal is an illusion. What is normal for the spider is chaos for that fly. What is normal for you and in the society and environment that you live in and you were brought up in may be completely wild and ridiculous to someone who lives halfway across the world, or even lives just a couple miles away from you. What is normal and what we consider normal, and the visions and ideas of the past and how ancient ancestors used to live, are all ideas that people had. The theory of evolution is a theory. It's an idea. And until it is proved wrong, this is what we have right now. But we have to be looking at these things with, a very informative and a very scientific view of it, like, okay, this is it. And we need to figure out how life grew around this. But we also need to have those back doors that, what if all of this is wrong? What if all these preconceived notions, there's something off with it or something wrong with it? And this is the beauty of the internet, that I wouldn't have any of these ideas. I've learned about any of this. I wouldn't have learned and knew about any of this type of stuff. I wouldn't have known about the book Sex at Dawn if it wasn't for the Joe Rogan Experience podcast and having Christopher Ryan on that. So the beauty of the internet, although there's so many misleading articles and stuff out there, it's opening the door for the future generations to have this back door open, to always have an idea, to always kind of consider that, what if everything we know is wrong? And that is the beauty of the internet and all this. And this is exactly why I wanted to make this video. So I would love to know what you guys think about my thoughts and my ideas and what I had to say about responding to Mark R here. So thank you very much, Mark, for calling me a hippie and for leaving your comment on my YouTube video. I love receiving comments like this because it helps me to back up and to reconsider ideas that I had in the past. And now that I've developed more knowledge and I'm constantly growing and excelling, it's always good to come back onto ideas like this. So as I said, I'd love to know what you guys think. Make sure you go leave a comment in the comment section below and go hit that like button on your way down there. I am the Hungarian Experiment.